What's up, sports fanatics? This is A Shot of Sports with Big Al. This YouTube channel is designed for me to watch sports and give you daily sports updates, and you are going to look like an all-star when it comes to sports information. Today is Monday, December 19th, and we had a really busy weekend in sports, so we'll get right into it. I'm going to start off by talking some World Cup soccer. Now, I got to tell you, it's difficult for me to follow soccer. I mean, it's hard for me to back a sport where you would go to a game, you come home, your wife's like, how was the game? Who won? And you're like, oh man, it was 0-0. That's how the game ended. It's just tough for me, but I gotta say, this game was a real face melter from beginning to end. The two teams that played in this World Cup were Argentina, who's known for having one of the greatest of all time soccer players, Leo Messi, and France, who is actually the defending champion of the World Cup. They won it 4 years ago in 2018. They have a stud soccer player named Kylian Mbappe, and these two went at it. Leo Messi ended up scoring 2 goals in this game, and now he has 13 career goals in World Cup games. Kylian Mbappe, he scored 3 goals in this game. He is the second player ever in the history of the World Cup final to have 3 goals in one game. Just for sports knowledge, if somebody scores 3 goals in one game, that's called a hat trick. The game ended with Argentina winning on penalty kicks, and many say that this game was the best World Cup final in the history of soccer. And also, people are talking about Leo Messi, saying he's the GOAT, he's got all the accolades, he's got the stats, but he's missing one thing, and that's the World Cup trophy. He now has it, and people are saying that he now is officially the GOAT. Now, we can't talk about World Cup soccer without talking about my boy Drake, the hip hop and R&B star. There's something called the Drake curse, and really what that is it's a phenomenon where if Drake attaches himself to an athlete or sporting team before a big game like he typically does, the odds typically are not in favor of that team that he's supporting. Well, in this game, Drake bet $1 million on Argentina to win. So everyone's scrambling, freaking out. Oh my God, Drake bet on Argentina. They're definitely not winning. Well, guess what? They did win, but they did not necessarily break the Drake curse because Drake lost his $1 million bet because he bet that Argentina was going to win in regular time, in normal time, and the game ended up going to extra time and being decided on penalty kicks. Fun fact for the day. We also had a big weekend in college basketball. This Saturday, the University of Arizona Wildcats, bear down, played the Tennessee Volunteers in a top 10 showdown. Tennessee was rated at the time the number 6 team in the country, and the U of A was rated number 9 in the country. So it was a big showdown. Last year, the University of Arizona played at Tennessee and ended up losing 77-73. So that everyone came into this game with a lot of anticipation to see how this would pan out. Tennessee is actually rated the number 1 defensive team in the whole country. And the U of A was actually rated the number 1 offensive team in the whole country. It was really interesting to see how this game was going to unfold. I was at the game, and I got to tell you, the environment was electric. It was so loud in there. The stadium was shaking. It was a back and forth game. The U of A ended up winning 75-70. Now, good news is a couple of teams that were rated ahead of the U of A this week had lost. So we're anticipating that our favorite team, America's favorite college team, the University of Arizona basketball team, will move up in the rankings, possibly to about number 7 in the country this week. The AP poll, which rates the basketball teams on a scale of the top team to 25, that poll is coming out today, so I'll update you all tomorrow and let you know where we ended up. Another big college basketball game that happened this weekend was Gonzaga, the Bulldogs, playing against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama came into the game as the number 4 rated team in the country. Gonzaga ended up beating them 100-90. Now, fun fact about Gonzaga and the ties to the University of Arizona. For one, traditionally speaking, the U of A and Gonzaga are known as the 2 top teams on the West Coast. Also, U of A's coach, Tommy Lloyd, was the assistant coach at Gonzaga for over 20 years before he took the job here in Tucson. Tommy Lloyd, in his second year at the U of A, his record is 45-5. He's only lost 5 games in the last year and a half in his first time as a head coach. He's doing a great job. Keep it up, Tommy. All right, now time to talk about some NFL football. We had a huge weekend. It was kind of weird. People woke up on Saturday and were like, whoa, there's NFL on a Saturday. It happens typically in December during the holidays. They'll have a Saturday showcase with a handful of games. There was one game in particular that really stood out, and that was the Indianapolis Colts playing in Minnesota against the Minnesota Vikings. The Indianapolis Colts were up 33-0 at the half. It was a blowout. And guess what happened? Minnesota came back and won the game 39-36. Now, Matt Ryan is the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, and he should be a Hall of Famer in my opinion. He's thrown for over 62,000 yards in his career. That's more than some names that you might know as a Fairweather fan, Dan Marino and John Elway. Now, he's on the wrong end of the record keeping when it comes to a couple games that he's played in. This game is actually the biggest comeback by a team in regular season history. So he's on the wrong end of that stat. Also, fun fact, in 2019, Matt Ryan was the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, and he led them to the Super Bowl where they were up 28-3 in the third quarter against the New England Patriots, and the Patriots made a comeback and won the game. That was the biggest comeback by a team in Super Bowl history. So if we got to chalk it up to Matt Ryan, he's a great player, and he's probably the greatest of all time quarterback in the first 3 quarters of the game. Some other notable games that happened this weekend: the Dallas Cowboys showed off against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the Jaguars beat the Cowboys in overtime. I've got a couple buddies who are Cowboy fans that I'll be giving calls to console them today. Sorry, D-Train and Gabe, we'll get them next week. The Eagles beat the Bears, and fun fact, the Eagles have the best record in the National Football League. They are 13-1. They've only lost 1 game so far, so they're looking really good headed into the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs pulled off another win today. Patrick Mahomes, who you may know from State Farm commercials, is really slinging it right now, and they always have a good run in the playoffs, so looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Probably the craziest play of the day, the Las Vegas Raiders were showing off at home against the New England Patriots. The game was tied with just a few seconds to go, and the Patriots had the ball. And instead of just running the clock out, they tried this lateral play where they're tossing the ball backwards to try to get a play going to score a last-second touchdown to win the game. However, one of the players for the Patriots actually threw the ball backward, and a player on defense from the Raiders caught the ball and scored a touchdown the other way, and that's how the game ended. You got to go online and check out the highlights on that one. It was crazy. Not too much going on in NBA basketball this weekend. Kind of quiet. It's a little bit earlier on in the season compared to NFL and other news going on this weekend in sports. Notably, the Phoenix Suns played on Saturday. They played the New Orleans Pelicans, who beat the Suns the last 2 times they played, and it was a really chippy game. They won 118-114, and Devin Booker, my boy Book, wet like I'm Book, scored 58 points. Big game for the big guy. Now it's the holiday season, so that's big for college football because now the college football bowl games are starting. Not too many games notably to talk about. Just want to give a quick highlight and a shout out to my boy David and his dad Andy. Andy is an Oregon State alum. Go Beavs. They played in the Las Vegas Bowl against the Florida Gators and beat them up 30-3. The best thing that I saw in sports this weekend actually was regarding golf. It's not golf season at the moment, but there was a tournament this weekend where it's a couples tournament, and typically it's like father and son or father and daughter playing, and Tiger Woods and his son Charlie were involved in the tournament this weekend and did great. They shot 20 shots under par, and it was just great for me as a father to see Tiger really enjoy his time and be in the moment and playing golf with his son, and both of them doing what they love. And that was a really touching moment. All right, guys. And lastly, we do have a pretty quiet night in sports. The 2 notable sporting events going on is Monday Night Football. We've got your boy Aaron Rodgers still in the game after, I don't know how long he's been playing, about 30 years or so. He's showing off at home against the Los Angeles Rams. The Packers are currently 7-point favorites. Also, your Phoenix Suns are playing the Los Angeles Lakers tonight as well, and the Phoenix Suns are favored by 9 points. Please go ahead and drop in some comments and let me know who you think are going to win those games tonight. I'm going with the Suns and the Packers. All right, sports fanatics, that's all for today's show. I'm going to be watching some sports tonight, and I'm excited to be back tomorrow and give you some more sports updates. Have a good one.